case, we are recording. Welcome to Roundtable 73. General chat has now been recorded for YouTube, so say hi in the channel if you want to say hi to YouTube. It usually goes up about an hour after process it, so probably about an hour after we've finished. It'll all be there for you to review or pass on to somebody else who hasn't seen it, that sort of stuff. Twitch over YouTube? No. Was thinking about maybe going live on YouTube, but Twitch I don't think is going to benefit us yet. But anyway, weekly maintenance. This is the big topic this week. This one's mainly about Ark, so apologies for everything else, but we've got a lot going on and a lot to talk about. So this is our weekly event, same time every Tuesday. We're going to recap the previous week. I don't think we've got too much to talk about, and our plans for the coming week, which is what's important today. After we're done, we'll answer any questions you've got, and possibly prizes. We'll see how long it takes. Thank you for joining. Let's get on with it. Firstly and foremost, before we get into everything, just want to thank the community, admins, mods. We're still growing. It's amazing. It's all because of you guys, and we're very, very proud of the community. It's pretty much self-regulating itself now. Reports of bad behavior coming in calmly, properly, getting action very, very quickly. So thank you again for making this a great place. And growing so fast is just, it's scary, but nice one. Awesome. Then to the Ark stuff. So lots and lots for this week. So the elephant in the room. There's going to be a recurring elephant thing going on here. We're aware of some issues with Aberration, specifically the Rockwell boss arena. We have been hearing you. We've gone, we've looked. We've been doing our own runs. We've been recording them. Unfortunately, so far, between like 4 or 5 runs I've done with DJ, and me and Sandy have done 3 or 4. With the runs I did with Sandy, we managed to see it, but ours did not. Go ahead, go on.
Yeah, we've done over, myself, I've done over 10 in total.
Yeah.
Probably about 6 of those on my own, and another 4 of them with Nani. And yeah, we unfortunately, or fortunately, haven't been able to replicate the problem.
No.
Some of those were done in the morning, some of them done in the middle of the day, some of them were done at peak time in the evening, and we've not been able to replicate the issue. I did single player too. I did single player, self-hosted dedicated server. I did on the cluster. I did single player dedicated with a save from the cluster, and in none of my runs I was able to create any issues. I even piled as many dinos into the arena as possible, and did it as well.
Yeah. At one point we had like 20 allosaurs in there, and nothing really was amiss.
Megalosaurus.
Megalosaurs.
Yeah. Megalosaurs. Yeah.
Megalosauruses are the reindeers. Yeah.
Not reindeer, but bugs.
It would have been splat really fast.
Well, Megalania, I was thinking of.
But yeah, I've personally seen the problems when I was with Sandy, but every run I've done since, I've not seen anything. But that said, there are more things we can do to help alleviate stress and things like that. So that's what we want to talk about today. Speaking of elephants, the new Dinotherium is now available on the shop. Everybody was asking for it, so you know it's there. Tier 1 and 2 supporters will be able to buy the elephant at the moment. As usual, they all filter down, so eventually they're all going to be able to everybody. But because they're new, this is the way we do things. So tier 1s and 2s, grab your Dumbos, and warnings, they don't fly. They're kind of cool though. I was playing with one earlier, testing out.
They do fly if you kick them hard enough.
Oh, they fly if you red gun them hard enough, and they like rubber band across the map. They're awesome at that. I was messing around with one earlier on the Extinction base, because we've been messing with the trading post as well. More on that in a bit. And the one thing I did note from earlier is the elephants are huge. They're like Bronto back size. They're really, really big. And I've got these little tech railings on the floor. Now I can freely, as a character, hop over these railings, but the elephant, no. The elephant refuses to walk over railings. Maybe it's scared. I don't know. But yeah, elephants, all good. We've got those. And then elephants out of the way. Let's have a peek at what's going to happen tomorrow morning, Wednesday. No elephants in the segment whatsoever. Server room's got plenty of mice in it, so it's all good. So first thing's going to happen tomorrow. There's going to be an extended downtime. It sucks. We know it sucks. I've been working all weekend to make sure we can mitigate as much of it as possible and pre-prep as much as we can. So we're going to be doing the following things. So first of all, we're adding more IPs to the servers. And as to why, that's because every server can then have its own IP address, its own DNS name. So we're going to have things like is.wngplay.com, se.wngplay.com. You see a theme going. What this means for us is if we get attacked, we get DDoSed, we have network issues on a specific IP, it's not going to affect every single server. The way it works at the moment is Steam has like a range of ports that it listens to. So whenever you go, type in an IP address and you say find servers, these ports are what it polls. And it just so happens to work out that Arc will fit like 3 or 4 servers into one IP before it goes over that range and is undiscoverable. So up until now, there's like 3 servers hanging off every IP. We're going to change that to each server with its own. And then any DDoS attacks, anything like that happens, it mitigates 1 server rather than 3. So that's going to help. Do you want to add anything else to that before we carry on?
Not really around mitigation, but around an additional benefit of moving each server to its own individual IP address.
Okay.
Unless you had that planned. If we ever need to move a server around in the future, so like we're moving Fjordjaw, we can do it without any interruption or interference to anybody's kind of gameplay or connectivity.
Yeah. But it's going to be much easier and much more streamlined. The second thing we're looking at doing is we're going to be tightening up on what actually gets logged in the leaderboards. Whereas, I mean, you know more about this at the moment because you've configured them, but it's logging an awful lot of stuff at the moment, right?
Yeah, it shouldn't be a problem. I mean, looking at the drive activity and how much data is being shuffled around between our database and our servers, and between servers as well across our internal connections, it's nowhere near the capacity of what we can do. I mean, I think it's at most about like 10 megabytes a second from the database. And those drives are rated up to thousands of megabytes in the RAID array that we've got. So 9,000 megabytes a second we can shunt around. But yeah, we're logging a lot of stuff, and quite a lot of it isn't used. So what we're thinking is we cut back on some of the logging for player activity, and we only log the stuff that we're using. And as we add more things in that require more data, then we put those extra things in as well. Yeah. Yes, there is. There's a death counter. There's boss kills, dino tames, all that kind of stuff.
Don't forget the player kills. We need the player kills.
Oh yes.
What else are we going to mock if there's no player kills?
I wonder if this works here. No, it doesn't.
We'll have to amend it. If you try that in the other chat, then main general chat, that should work, and you should get leaderboards spit out. There you go. Thank you, Cleveland. So
that's
sort of
the
stuff.
in-game stats.
Yeah.
You've also got out-of-game stat reporting as well, which is just not working at the moment for whatever reason. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's not going to hurt tightening up on some stuff, and the less data we've got flying around, the easier it makes us to figure out what's going on.
Helps if I type it around the right way. So let me try that again, see if it works in this channel. No, it doesn't. But yeah, so it will be.
You can always throw it to the normal general channel. It should work in there. People can have a look at that later.
Interestingly, the bot came back to me on the console and said, Starkchester tried executing a stats command in a channel where the bot can't type. So, there.
I'm sure we've got a static channel here now, so I'm sure we can sort that out. That's no problem. It was harder where we were using the staging channel, but now we're in a standard channel. We can do stuff like that, can't we? Cool. So yeah, tightening up on data. We're going to be adding more IPs. The other thing we're going to be doing tomorrow is we're going to be moving Fjordjaw to the second box. Second box is not as tightly packed as the first, so it will have more cores to play around with, a little bit less stress. It's not stress particularly as it is, but it's definitely going to give it some more wiggle room. One of the dock servers that currently sits on that box is going to take Fjordjaw's place over on the main box. Dock servers are not massively heavily populated, so that shouldn't make any difference at all. But the main issue there is to give Fjordjaw a little bit more breathing room. That's obviously going to take us some time to do. I've already prepped the installs, I've already linked all the files, done the configs, all that sort of stuff over the weekend. So trying to sort of minimize the downtime we've got, but it is what it is. We've got to do it, and there is no set ETA at this moment. I will keep you informed in the morning of how close we are. I usually do. But the more we can work and the more uninterrupted we are, the faster it's going to be. And we'll update you as soon as we know something. So, next thing I've got on the agenda for this week, because that's the big stuff. Now, obviously, because the IP addresses are changing, and the reason I wanted to get everybody in here is tomorrow morning when the servers do come up and we let you know they're all okay, you probably aren't going to see them because obviously all the IP addresses have changed. So we're going to be updating all of the documentation, and we will be online in the mornings to help you through how to add them all back again, and everything will be made available to you as soon as you need it. So that's the main thing, is nobody panic. No maps are going to be wiped. Nothing's going to be lost. Yes, you won't see the servers when you first come in. It isn't your fault. We just need to re-add the servers. Then on to something completely different then. A lot of chatter recently about vote rewards. So I just want to clear some stuff up on vote rewards. Just to go over it again and remind people how it works. We run a third-party plugin that basically links us to the third-party voting sites. You vote, they note you've voted, and when you claim our side, it checks with the sites in question. There's 3 of them, and they are responsible providing the data of whether or not you voted and how they store that. Things can and do go wrong their end. You have to remember it's not just us they're supporting like thousands of clusters out there. So sometimes stuff does happen. There isn't anything we can do about it. We've got no other alternatives to use either. It's pretty much the most popular plugin out there. But you just have to be patient with it. Keep voting and keep claiming through the day. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But that's why it happens. It's third party. We have no way of mitigating it or getting in touch with them. It is what it is. But it's all we've got. That's voting out of the way. And then we've got some good news. Dino color copy and paste functions. You want to tell us a bit about this, because this sounds awesome.
Yeah, we've done some work with one of the plugin developers, and he's agreed to develop it further to give us the ability to copy color schemes from dinos and paste them onto another one. It's been a long time requested because at the moment the supporter perk allows you to recolor one region on a dino. Now you can do them all in one go. So once you've got your perfect color scheme set up, you can do your entire raid route and just copy and paste the color from one.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, so there's a funky little video there. And as you can see, you just use a command to copy one dinosaur's colors, and you can paste it onto as many as you like. Which is, the way we've got it at the moment is cool, but this is way time saving. This is awesome. I'm not sure how that would actually make a difference, Rennies, but Rainies? But cool, if it worked, it worked. I know sometimes they can be a bit overpopulated. Like I say, there's thousands and thousands of servers with tens of thousands of players all voting, so all depends what they're running their side and how they process that, but things do and can go wrong. Is there any chance in the future we can get an SDC random or something? Randomized colors.
Yeah, they spawn all over the map.
It took me a second there, but yeah, that's cool. They do.
And then occasionally you get some really garish ones which spawn and announce themselves.
Speaking of garish dinosaurs,
they're extra shiny. I think they are.
Speaking of all sorts of garish dinosaurs, who managed to snag some of the shinies from Saturday night? Anybody managed to get any of those?
Now the counter taking me a frozen
Ah.
trilobite.
You got the shiny thorny dragon. I remember that one. The frozen trilobite. I was thinking of Sandy as I tased that. Tuso and the taser. Oh, you got the Tuso. That Tuso was awesome. The hollow one, yeah? Yeah, that one was so cool. For those of you who didn't realize what was going on through all the craziness, obviously at Christmas I lost my wife. She actually built the Ragnarok trading post. So we had the idea that we'd sort of like lay her in-game sort of avatar down there so everybody could see, and she could sort of like, you know, lie between what she built, because we feel that the Ragnarok trading post is awesome. So that's what that was about. When we'd finished that, I was launching fireworks into the air, and I think there ended up about 40 shiny dinos all over Ragnarok. But there was some cool ones. Maybe at Christmas we'll do that again. That was cool. Speaking of shiny things going on, trading post overhauls. So some of the trading posts you'll notice are going to be changing. The immediate one is the island. It's got a little bit smaller. We're trying to keep them as trim as we can, both for frames, both for server performance, and, you know, we got to practice what we preach, right? So the trading posts have been slimmed down. Islands kind of just been reined in a little bit. Thank you, Scorp, for that. Scorp was the original builder of the island, so he came back and he did some adjustments for us. That's fantastic now. Sandy is currently redoing Aberration.
Yes, I'm working on it as we speak.
Yep, I've seen the layout of what's going to happen with that. That's looking really, really cool.
Oh, you haven't seen anything.
You work quick though. Since I last saw, you've probably done loads.
Yes.
You're a machine when you get going. I knew Sandy was going into machine mode because she's like, I'm leaving Discord, I can't concentrate. So yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of work being done on that. So that's going to change. Aber, Extinction's already changed. So Extinction has moved over to where our old base used to be. I've trimmed that down. That's all sorted out, and the new TP command is in for that. Scorched Earth, that's coming along nicely. So those of you who had seen the old Scorched Earth pyramid, it was okay. Tula has taken on the job of overhauling that. And my God, yes, when that opens up, you want to see the pyramid on Scorched Earth. It is amazing. It's absolutely had a massive overhaul, slightly changed locations. People are going to love that. So we're going to slowly make our way around the trading posts, tidy them up, change the box systems over so it's easier for us to deal with. Every trading post has had the turrets removed now. Didn't like the idea of them constantly chewing ammo or tracking stuff, blowing pterodons out the sky. So everyone has a bug zapper installed now. So you'll notice a nice big red shield around the trading posts. You know when you're inside that shield, you are completely safe. Any dinosaur or flyer will disintegrate, not your own, just wilds, will disintegrate on the red shield as you get attacked or fly in. So again, don't worry about your own. The doors with the port on Extinction is locked. The port's outside. When did you last test it, Cleveland? Because I literally switched Extinction on this afternoon. The doors the port on Extinction. Are we talking about the teleporter now, yeah? Or the transmitter? That's outside. Okay, I'll come in and I'll check that afterwards, but I went around this afternoon and unlocked all of that. That's weird. I'll test it this afternoon. So that's what's going on with trading posts. Lastly, on my list for ARC before we move on to Docs, basically we were talking in general yesterday, and we were chatting in ARC feedback as well. quite a few players got involved, and we were talking about, again, server performance, what we can do to mitigate it. We're doing everything we can our end. We're slimming the trading post down. We're sorting the hardware out, making sure everything's all streamlined. But we were talking about what players as a community can do too. So we don't want to start imposing limits, and we don't want to get oppressive with it. So the general consensus of the conversation was, if everybody on the server just takes a step back, has a look at the base, is this excessive? Have I got too much of this? Do I really need that? Nobody's saying strip your base back. What we're saying is to take a look at it. Think, does it cause an issue? Have I got too much glass? Do I really need all these crop plots? Everybody who does a little bit, even if it's just a little bit, massively helps out. So what I wanted to talk to everybody about was community effort. Everybody pulls together, and let's see what we can do. Deadies are not too much of an issue. The only issue dedicated storage causes us is if you have an obscene amount of things in them, and obviously they store it to like 5 million things. If you kill them or try to mass transfer things in those sort of numbers, that absolutely does really play havoc with the servers. However, if you've just got deadies sitting there and you're responsible how you use them, not an issue at all. Don't really see we've got a problem with deadies. Crop plots, yes. Do you need them? Anything that has to be tracked is the issue at the moment. So crop plots is one. The server has to monitor growth. The server has to monitor what's going on with them. The meat plants specifically, they don't hurt the server, but they do hurt FPS. They've got a lot of floatiness to them. They sway all the time. When you've got 300 of them, it hurts, as we found out the other week. Dr. Smiley's right. Yes, big flower lights.
Well, what I've got to be clear about here is the two different things we're talking about.
Yeah.
There's server frame rate and client frame rate.
Yes.
Now, for those of you with big beastie computers and like 3080s and stuff like that, the things that you don't need to be worried about will be big flower lights and stuff like that. But the server performance that affects everybody is anything that has to be calculated, that performs an operation that has to be worked out and then transmitted to the player.
Yeah.
So that's crop plots, as Nani says, because they're always doing something when they're out of stasis.
Yeah.
The lots of automations, eggs spewing out of propagators, hatching billions of babies all at once, all that kind of stuff, transferring massive, like millions of units of stuff around. That all hurts the server. What hurts the players is the anything that has lots of lighting or shaders or animated textures or stuff like that. So we've got to be very clear. There's two different things going on here.
Yeah.
Crop plots fall into both categories because they do something, and the stuff you can plant in them can really hurt players' computers. So it's two different things.
Yeah.
The same goes with actually stacking foundations as well, because while foundations are static and they don't actually do anything from a player perspective, the server has to calculate how all those foundations connect to each other. And a foundation actually has, I think, the most calculations to perform because it's got snap points on all sides for floors and ceilings. It's got snap points in the middle for the pillars. It's got snap points on the actual sides themselves, not just the edges, so you can attach other foundations as well. They're computationally one of the most expensive things to build a base out of. So if you're going to build a raised platform, don't do like 10 foundations deep, 10 by 10, and have a massive block, because not only does the player have to render every single block, the server also has to work out how they're all connected and transmit that to the player as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an awful lot going on there.
Yeah. So the biggies to look out for are crop plots, breeding. Breeding is not an issue. The issue becomes an issue when you have like 30 dinosaurs out. But you do have, say, something like a soul terminal set to auto collect babies and eggs, or a hatchery to collect the eggs. But then those things fill up, and when they fill up or they run out of soul terminals, there's babies plopping around all over the place on the server. I look at the consoles every morning, and there are hundreds of dinosaurs that get just cleared up, and all of those dinosaurs and all of those clear up processes, that is what causes the server to have a shit fit. With building, and as DJ said, to be clear, there are two different types of things at work here. FPS for players, people with lesser computers, and somebody just made a really good shardy, just made a big glass building on Extinction. Is that not good? Glass can be a pain, but there are ways you can get around that. Tinted glass isn't quite as bad, especially if you go one way on it. There are also bigger walls. So the problem with big buildings don't come from the fact of kind of how many objects there are there. It comes from snap point calculations. When you render a base in, each wall has obviously 4 or 5 sides, different places you can snap different things. All those get calculated on load. So you'll notice there's like 5 high walls, there's 3 high walls. Using bigger pieces is better for people's frames.
You'll see it when you fly up to a large base. It starts building the base block by block. It'll start. Well, it starts actually drawing it on your screen like it would in Minecraft, kind of thing.
Yeah.
The larger the blocks, the faster it can draw the base, and the less things it has to figure out what's connected to what.
Yeah. Chase is correct as well with what he said. Names of items do cause quite a bit of FPS drop, and you can turn that off, like he says. If you turn that off, you do indeed get a frame performance. I've seen that before. I like having the names on, but it does work. If you're on low-end computers, turn off names. It really helps. Yeah, meshing dinos, things jumping together, all that sort of stuff. But it's just keeping an eye on stuff, basically. If you've got dinos out, do they need to be out? And every little thing we can do, every tiny thing every individual person can do, makes a massive difference on the whole. And again, everybody wants a nice, smooth server. So anything you can do, basically. We're not saying rip things down at all. Nobody's saying don't do it. We're saying just, if everybody takes that extra little bit of care, absolutely, we're golden.
Using pillars and ceilings for a foundation, that's good. That's better than using stacked foundations.
Yeah.
Just to answer Asu's question.
And then there's also the starter block.
Yeah. Sorry, before you crack into that one, if you think about a foundation, how many, and you try and snap a wall or a ceiling or a pillar to it, how many different snap points has it got compared to a pillar, for example? Pillar's got top, bottom, and middle. A foundation has top, bottom, back, front, left side, right side, then all of the edges along the square around the top, all of the edges along the square around the bottom, and then the pillar snap point in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
That's minimum. So you're looking at what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 snap points on a foundation. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wildcard did a bit around a while ago called memory optimizations for building blocks and stuff like that. And yeah, that actually helps. It reduces the amount of data that's transmitted from the server to the client, but it doesn't help with the calculations, and it doesn't help with mods that don't support it. And I'm pretty sure CKF and CKFS don't support those mem optimizations. I'd have to double check that though. I know S Plus does.
Dermissing favorites, yes, that would help. What you do have to remember is the dermises also have animations on them. Static dermises, probably way better than a live dinosaur. Less to keep track of.
The dermis animations are all local. They're all client side.
Yeah, so yeah, dermis is 100% better. I know people like to see the cool stuff they've got.
Yeah.
Other things and other tips and tricks. Starter blocks. Was anybody familiar with the starter blocks? It's basically a fake block. So you place it like you would a foundation. It does like an outline of the thing, and its job is to help you to build on uneven terrain, which we all know in Ark is a pain in the ass. Everywhere is uneven, and everywhere is stacking foundations. So you place your block down on the highest point, and you can tilt it, you can pivot it, you can get the foundations running at an angle if you want. You can flip them, you can do all sorts of stuff, and when you're finalized with it, you snap a proper foundation into it, and you've started off perfectly where you wanted to build, and you can build out from there. But yeah, stacking foundations are brutal. People with like massive walls around their base, again, no issue. Use 5 highs instead of 5 singles stacked. Way less snap points, way less to load when you render it in. And again, helps with the frames, less blocks to load. There's loads of stuff.
With that starter block, Chase, you put the starter block down, you position it by rotating it, increasing the height or decreasing it, doing whatever you want with it. And then you actually place your first foundation inside the starter block itself.
Yeah.
The starter block then disappears, and you have a solid foundation from which you can build the rest of your base.
Yeah, the starter block's like a fake block. You put it down, and it's just a positioner. And then you take whatever, metal, tech, whatever, and you snap it into it, and it takes over that block. But it also means you can angle that block, you can tilt it, you can do all crazy stuff with it. But a lot of people don't know about them because they've never seen them.
So
if I can stream here, I can show you. I have one on me. But I don't know how to stream in here.
So yeah, anything we can do as a team, absolutely amazing. And we all help each other out.
Now I saw a question there. Another feature for S Plus, which people may not be aware of. If you build a base in one material, you can change the block that you place to any other material you want. It doesn't take on the properties of that material, but it changes the look.
Yep.
So if you build a metal wall, you can make it look like wood.
Yep. Another one I've just thought of straight away would be to do with piping and water. So if anybody isn't aware, both the water tanks and the intakes on this server do not require being in or near any water to provide water. So I know on official you need to run like long pipe networks, and I've seen them on the server. You really don't need to do that. You can take all that down, and you can just, plonk an intake onto whatever you've got. Like you've got a cooker or you've got a beer barrel, snap it directly in. It works. The water tanks are the same. If you want to go for kind of a more sort of RP approach or something a bit more visual, the water tanks will self-fill. You don't need rain. But there's plenty of ways of getting water. And then the last thing I was going to say was, has anybody come across yet the internal piping? I don't know if anybody's seen that. So instead of using proper pipes and cross pieces, there are actually pieces that snap into the foundations and walls. So they're perfectly flush, perfectly snapped, and you don't have to have cables snaking all over your base.
Yeah, it turns the foundation, wall, or ceiling block into a pipe or electrical conduit for you, and puts a little icon on it to tell you if the power's running.
Yes, Shard, it does. If you've got a metal wall down and you change it to look like wood, it's purely cosmetic. It's still a metal wall with the same hit points. And vice versa with wood. It would have low hit points, but it would look like metal. But yeah, the S Plus internal pipes and wires are amazing if you haven't seen them. Check those out.
Cave flying is not enabled on any of our maps except for Fjordjaw. The only reason cave flying is enabled on Fjordjaw is because the alternative realms are classed as caves, and we wanted people to be able to fly in them. the only way we'll get the bat to be able to fly in caves is by turning on cave flying.
Yeah. The bat still respects the rules, unfortunately.
The only place it doesn't is on Fjordur.
It's a real pain because they've literally classed, all of the different realms as caves. So it's just a bit weird. People were going to those other realms, they weren't building there, and the main realm was so overcrowded because people just wanted to fly, and I don't blame them for that.
No, it's nothing we've done. Cave flying is switched off, so things are not able to fly in caves. That's the server setting for all of our maps.
Yeah.
Because what we don't want is people just jumping on a flyer, scooting to the end of the cave and grabbing the loot and disappearing again.
There are still many ways you can actually do that. There's like Lethal's reusable grapples are really cool. There's the climbing picks, but be careful with those. They're dodgy.
I would not use the climbing picks because they are bugged.
I am actually tempted
drakes,
to remove
yes.
climbing plex altogether.
Tech suits, glider wings, all of that works.
Yeah,
And you're right. Climbing picks should not exist in their current iteration. They're really bad. If you haven't seen them yet, they came in with Aberration and were supposed to be so you could climb walls and stuff. They're a cool concept. But every now and then, you're climbing up a wall and you suddenly launch yourself 100 feet in the air and mess yourself. I watched DJ do it in Life's Labyrinth. It was entertaining, but yeah, I think you did it twice in Life's Labyrinth, didn't you?
Mm.
They're even worse now, Nani, because
climbing up like a 6-foot wall. Yeah, just a simple 6-foot wall.
I've even done it on Aberration, getting rock drake eggs.
Yeah.
Pulled myself through the mesh, lost everything.
Such a pain.
So climbing picks, really don't use them.
Yes. Caves are unbuildable. Mainly because it causes way too many arguments and people sort of putting doors over things with stuff in that players want to get. It's a pain to moderate. It really is.
The last thing we don't want to be getting tickets basically about saying, oh, somebody's gone and walled in the artifact in this cave, or somebody's gone and stuck 10,000 beds in this cave. And yeah, people still figure out ways around it and try and do it, but we've got to have a balance between the caves are like the dungeons of Ark. They're not intended to be built in, really. That you're intended to run them as a group or a well-geared single player with appropriate sized tames. People always look for the easiest way to do them. They'll always look for the cheese. They'll always look for the fastest way to get what they want. But we're not going to make that easy. Yeah, no fly map. It's called docks when you first start. You get eaten.
Are you able to play still right now? Yes, you are able to play right now. Maintenance is 9 a.m. UK tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
You got a good few hours yet. Unfortunately, I think for Chase, our morning downtime is your peak time, probably. So that's pretty much what we've got for Ark. Is basically just be gentle tomorrow morning. Yes, the servers will be offline. Yes, you won't be able to find them when they come back up, but it's all going to be cool and it's going to be better for it. I have a little bit of Docs news this week, only on an entertainment purpose. Some very concerning news for Docs this week. I visited the centre on Sunday, and as I was admiring the map, a 20-foot wolf with a tech shield strapped to it attempted to eat my face. I thought this was quite bad, and being a sneaky admin, and I was on official business helping a player, I enabled my God mode. I didn't want to damage anyone else's base, so I've heard that the dinosaurs sort of follow you round and smash things up, so I'm trying to be a good boy. And then it got worse. What I can only describe as King Kong throwing vine-encrusted fetal matter directly at my face. It was terrible. It's dangerous on docks, guys, and I suggest the main cluster. That's my news for this week on docks. It was terrifying.
Oh, you met the Dinopithecus X.
It was just a
think you
huge
found-
monkey throwing what I can only describe as vine-encrusted fecal matter at my head,
Yeah,
whilst the
that's,
20-foot, wolf tried to gnaw my legs off, and I can't even batter the thing because it has a tech shield strapped to it. I mean, what the heck? So yeah, anybody who's interested in self-harm or sodomy or anything like that, docs is probably your thing, but yeah, it's truly terrifying. And that's pretty much all I've got this week, unless anyone's got anything else. So, centre on main. I would love to do centre on main. And I think DJ even alluded to centre on main might have been a good idea the other day I saw. It's a good map.
Yes, I mentioned that in the feedback section of Discord for Arc. We're having a bit of a conversation about population maps, spinning up other maps and stuff like that. And basically, my take on it was, well, we're not going to spin up any duplicates of maps we've already got. So the only one we've got left is the centre.
Yeah.
And I think I do like it as a map.
It's a good map. Centre would be cool, but I would advise we wait. We get tomorrow over with, and we reseat Fjordur in its new home, and we monitor for a small while first before we bang anything else on there. But yeah, I'd love the centre. I've got no issues with that at all. That'd be cool.
I also want to consider the whole idea behind the 2 docs servers originally was we were going to rotate through some total overhaul mods.
Yeah.
Docs became exceptionally popular. However, the popularity of docs seems to have disappeared over the last week or so. So I'm up for suggestions on any total overhauls that could possibly go on those 2 servers, which maps to run them on, and stuff like that.
Well, immediately I'm thinking we had the idea of kind of a vanilla type story run type thing.
Yeah.
Was mentioned and seemed to be very popular. Is that something people still want? We're talking like a completely separate cluster here, a completely separate map. I won't say cluster. We start the island off. People can create new characters on there. It's not connected to the main cluster. And I've got a reason for that. We did discuss being transferred in and out, but I have a reason for why I don't think that's a good idea. So the idea being vanilla?
I'd agree with that. And I'd also say that if you're going for the whole original Arc experience, then you don't want to be starting with high-level characters because leveling becomes a thing.
Yeah, it's the fun bit.
Yeah, leveling becomes progression again.
Yeah, so we'll spin up a copy of, say, the island. We'll run it for 2 or 3 months. And we'll let people play through. At the end of the 2 or 3 months, we'll move on to the next story map, blah-de-blah-de-blah.
Now, the thing we can do as well is when you do the move from one map to the next, we can spin up the second map and people can ascend to it.
Yes, we can let people transition across and keep their ascensions and slowly move through. They are obviously going to have to get wiped. This will be like an event. I'm thinking we keep it light as well, I'm thinking. So we go back to Vanilla Arc. We will have the quality of life stuff we've got, but we're going to think stripping out things like tech dinosaurs. We don't need the collection. We don't need ecos mods. We don't need stuff like that. And we had some basic calculations between me and Prom the other day. And just by keeping Dinosuchus is... addition. Yeah, it's one of the aberrants, isn't it?
That's additions.
Yeah, it's additions. But just by removing, say, ecos mods, basically kind of an official story run, yes. You would save nearly 5 gigabytes worth of mod loading, which for people with slower PCs and stuff, you're talking like you're going to be people who take 30 minutes to log in are probably only going to take 10.
People who take 30 minutes to log in. Even GeForce Now only takes 5 minutes.
We absolutely have people who take more than 30. Abyss takes 45, or did do at one point. From her own mouth. Yeah.
That's hideous.
It is hideous.
But we have, I think,
I
have a
can keep the
community.
dino mods in, but I'm definitely thinking we rip out stuff like ecos and just make them really easy to get into.
Oh, I was thinking, just kind of like maybe S plus, and that's kind of it. If that.
You've got to remember as well, if these maps are going to be running for say 2 or 3 months, there's going to be no mega breeding and stuff like that and collecting dinosaurs. You're in there for a competition to sort of ascend, get off the island, do the next one, blah 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 blah.
Mm.
Spyglass, definitely, totally.
Put the spyglass in, but the overlay will be off.
But when mentioned last time, people seem to really like this idea. But if something like a fresh start server is what we want, that we can do.
The thing is that the overlay gives you the ability to see things that you wouldn't normally be able to see easily. So if there's a raptor hiding in a bush, if any part of that raptor pokes out from behind the bush, you immediately get an outline around it. Normally, you wouldn't be able to see that until the raptor's already jumped on you.
It might bring toxic peoples in, yes, but have you seen what happens to toxic people on this cluster? They don't stay here very long. We can discuss.
Anyway,
we can discuss this later. Yes, this is for another day. But there's lots of things we can do. Primal also might be a good idea. I quite like the idea of Primal too. What was the other one we were looking at? The one we used to run. That was like Primal, but not. What was that one?
You lost me there.
There was Primal Fear, and then there was the other one we used to run. The one with all like the horde mode dinos in. What was that one? Remember that one? Where they used to come to your base and actually attack you. Yeah, we used to have a server for it. It'll come to me eventually. I'll find it. We actually spun up a server. It didn't turn out to be really popular, but it was, yeah, we used to sit there and they would come to you. No, it wasn't that. I'll find it.
Oh, your TC did it.
Yes.
I know the one you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't work. That won't work anymore.
Will it not?
I don't think. No.
That was kind of a strange take on Ark. You build and build and build, and then you get like a purge come for you, kind of like in Conan. It was actually quite entertaining, but I think people weren't ready for it.
Based on the size of your base, the number of dinos you had, created a threat meter. The higher your threat meter, the more dinos that came for you when the purge hit.
That's it. That was good fun.
You had to defend your base.
Similar, yes. Kind of 7 days type thing where every so often you would fill your purge meter up and then you would get attacked and you had to fend them off. It was quite cool.
If they couldn't find a route to your base by land, then you get flyers and dragons and stuff like that spawning.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's Halloween coming as well. So the other overhaul we do is going to be the zombie event.
Oh, you know which one you mean, Ronnie, I think it's the one, Call of the Wild. I think.
It was a long time ago.
Something.
It was Brutal something along those lines, yeah. Brutal Ark, or doesn't sound quite right there.
I'll get it quite easily. I just have to go to TC's workshop. Here we go.
It'll be in there somewhere. So yeah,
Brutal Ark.
Brutal Ark. Yeah, it was quite fun. Probably very, very outdated there. So end of October, there's going to be an event we call Fear in the Forest, for those who haven't heard yet. We take the Ragnarok map. Everybody transfers in. You bring your character. You come naked. You don't need to bring dinosaurs, weapons. All of that is provided. And we're going to be running a cool event we call Fear in the Forest. where you basically have to survive an arc against hordes of brutal zombies. Yes, you heard me correctly. No dinosaurs, zombies. There's going to be some more on that and some more pictures and some more stuff coming up. Chris/Abigan's been working on that with me, so this is going to be cool this year. So if you're up for some zombie action in Ark and you want to see something completely different, then we will let you know closer to the time, and we'll try and pick a day that's suitable for everybody. We are also going to be having the Fear Evolved event. That comes naturally, so it's not replacing. This is as well as. And we usually do some really cool giveaways at the end of the event as well. So looking forward to that. I think that's all I've got this week. Do we have any questions, and do we want to give anything away? Will your new giveaway bot work in here?
Yeah, the new one won't because I haven't set it up yet.
Okay, but
the current one will.
We can definitely run some giveaways.
Oh, of course we can.
One question. Go on then, Theo. You're holding the giveaways up. Is it possible to increase the rate at which shinies spawn? It is. I'm not sure whether we want to. Is the big question.
We have a suggestion pending at the moment, and something I did want to talk about.
Okay.
But I don't think it's a good idea, generally speaking, because even if you add, say, like an extra shiny to the spawn cycle, then suddenly that's you've kind of like increased the spawn rate by what 50%, and then suddenly more are coming into the game, and suddenly then they're a lot less desirable and a lot less rare.
Yeah,
and have less value. So it's we already have upped the default rate at which they spawn. We've taken out as many of the ones that are useless to you as possible, and we've increased the chances that you get something useful when they spawn. So I'm kind of hesitant to tweak that any further.
Feels really hard getting enraged ones. I can see how that might be an issue, actually. Because enraged ones are just a chance on shiny spawn, right? And I do know shiny spawn is... Yeah.
But we do have the alternatives, which is their essences are available on the shop. And if you need to collect essences to collect the... or if you need to collect the enraged essences so you can collect the other essences, then you can acquire lots of points in many ways. So I don't know. I think it's fairly well balanced at the moment. What's always in the back of my mind is once you up the rate, having the conversation of realizing you made a mistake and lowering the rate again is next to impossible. Would be my take on that. Still reading.
Mm-hmm. I'm absolutely up for a Christmas shiny gun thing. Maybe we should do the 12 days of Christmas. The 12 days of shinies.
That's cool.
Yeah, somebody remind me on about that. That's definitely a cool idea.
Mm.
And the OSDs.
Yeah, the suggestion about the OSDs, already approved that for voting. That will be a big job for us, but I think it's something that's worth doing. We wouldn't be able to do it using something like simple spawners. We'd have to set up proper no build zones
Around all the places they can spawn.
Yeah.
We can do that. We also need to make sure that when they drop, they don't actually kill our no build zones.
That's what I'm saying. It can't be done through simple spawners.
Yeah, we'd have to.
It has to be done through safe zones.
Yes.
You know, like when you port into a map, it says you've arrived and left from a particular zone.
Yes. That
All
is
of those are no build zones.
definitely something we can do.
It's a big job though.
It is.
We would need the CCC coordinates for the center of every orbital supply drop and element vein on Extinction.
Oh,
With
good
those,
lord.
However,
yeah, with those we can then turn them into no build zones in a very quick amount of time.
we do
So
have
if
a
somebody
really cool complement of admins now, though, and moderators.
Well,
and indeed players.
Here's the thing. Any player can collect the coordinates for us. So it could be a group effort.
Yeah.
So
That is
also,
true. With the orbital uplink, you can see where every.
You can, yes. That's absolutely doable.
It wouldn't be out of the realms of possibility to actually look at the resource map on the wiki. I think they're all mapped out on there with coordinates.
Mm.
But they won't be the ones that we need.
We can still convert them over, and like I say, the admins and mods are bang on at the moment, so yeah, we can totally get that sorted out. Leave it with Team Awesome.
The other option is, which is I carry on figuring out how to make the Horde dinos damage structures, since Wildcard removed it. Dumbasses. I get why they did it, but at the same time, they should have excluded the Horde dinos from it.
That's the whole point of the OSDs, though, Imperator, that they are for people with maxed out dinosaurs and the ability to go stronger and longer than everybody else.
That's the whole point. They're the ultimate in challenge.
And
grouping up.
Grouping up, yes, and teaming.
I mean,
yeah.
Well, no, the lower end people do the lower difficulty OSDs. That's what they're there for.
It's only as the OSDs progress into harder and harder territory, they get, like, totally ridiculous. My voice looks like who?
If build is removed, can we add more tiers of loot? No! They're never supposed to be done with building. Why do you think they blow up all the structures when they land? Oh my lord.
They were actually supposed to be sort of like Extinction endgame content, be able to get all of the cool stuff that drops at the higher levels required work.
Yeah.
Any game has this sort of stuff built in. There has to be content for players to push for, otherwise there's no point.
Yeah.
As much as I see the point, it does push out the lower end players, but then you're also pushing out the higher end players who are more likely to leave. Because there's nothing for them to do.
With the orbital supply drops, they have a built-in shield. The fact that shield can be damaged and reduced to 0, it's never intended to be a permanent shield around them. You never intended to be able to build there, because when they land, they destroy all structures. Yet, it's supposed to be like a horde mode thing. Turrets are not supposed to be an effective defense against corrupted dinos. They do significantly reduce damage. So it's the encounters are just broken with people being able to build there. Gatekeeping is bad, but I get it. Gatekeeping as in creating barriers that people have to overcome to progress further through the game.
Yeah. As for what Kara was saying though as well, tech glitching in spots where dinos could get stuck. You mean the OSD dinos getting stuck? I know that happened quite a lot. I don't know if many of you are aware though, we do actually have a mod in place that removes dinosaurs that get stuck. I don't know if you've noticed recently doing OSDs on this server, but it rarely happens because there is a plugin removing them should they become incapacitated. Reapers used to be a pain in the backside. They would burrow and never come back out. They just get nuked automatically.
I think it is if they aren't engaged in 30 seconds, they are
That's right, yeah.
targeted.
That's right. If they don't attack or do something valid inside, say, 30 seconds, the plugin just removes them straight away. Because, yeah, totally, I've seen that too. It used to drive us nuts. Why is the wave not starting? Oh, it's a Reaper. And then the Reaper's, like you say, under the floor. And unless you can admin gun it under the floor, you're screwed. But yeah, we don't have that problem here. It's all sorted.
No, after wave 15, I believe, the loop does cap out. That's nothing we have control over.
The quality does. The quantity goes up. You continue.
Yeah, the quantity still keeps going up. The quality just doesn't. For somebody who was asking about world bosses, world boss loot tables. ASU. They're in the world boss channel in the ARC section. Look at the pins in there. You'll find all the things that they drop and unlock. Tactics wise, you're going to have to figure it out. We're not posting any strengths or weaknesses on there. That's because they aren't on any other server. Somebody's got to kill them, figure out how to kill them, and then be willing to share that information. The rewards from the world bosses are significant in the fact that they drop +5 levels to hit points, stamina, and damage that you can feed to Domination Rexes. Do enough of them, and you'll end up with a Domination Rex with 255 levels in every stat. Important stat, anyway.
There's definitely big groups of people who are doing all the world bosses. There's groups going on those all the time. Just ask about. Everybody's fairly decent and lets people in.
I think Chase was talking about blueprints.
Yes.
If you're not finding blueprints, you're not looking in the right places. The loot tables are posted on the website for anything that we've customized. So if you want, it's fairly common, or not fairly common, fairly what's the word I'm looking for? Intuitive as to where you'll find things. So if you do a snow cave, you're likely to find snow gear. If you do a cave that requires shotguns and armor, you're likely to find shotguns and armor. That kind of approach. Acro. Yes, Acro BPs are rare because they drop from the Savage Acro World Boss.
Yeah.
Savage Acro drops the BPs. The BPs are on the body of the Savage Acro. So the group that does the kill has to decide how they're divvied up.
Precisely, DKP. Yeah. It's kind of trying to
exactly.
keep with what the author wanted. He initially wanted you to be able to spawn the Savage Acro into the world. You kill it, it drops a bunch of loot. But the thing is a beast. It's so much of a beast, it's ridiculous. And we'd end up with people dropping them on top of other people's bases and getting all the stuff killed, and several of them wandering around the map, decimating things. Hence why they go on the arena, and you get your loot from there.
So I'm not sure where you're going then, Chase, but if you have a look in somewhere like the auction house, you'll get a rough idea of the kind of stuff that's for sale from other players. And I'm seeing blueprints, shotguns, armor, and all that kind of stuff just all over the place. Um, the page on the website, I'll grab it for you now. Bear with me. Custom loop tables. And I can even run through what some of the things mean on there if you want. No problem with that. So on the website, the link that I've just posted links to the loop tables that have been modified. So, for example, if you are after ramshackle to ascendant gear, you want to flak armor, you want blue drops in a cave. If you want riot armor, you want red drops from a cave. If you want the advanced firearms, which are the shotguns, sniper rifles, that kind of stuff, again, you want red drops in a cave. So you've got to go caving to get the gear and blueprints you need to boss and do more advanced caving. It's the way it's built. If you want to maybe try a different method for getting your flak armor and your weapons and stuff, have a look at the orbital supply drops on Extinction. You get apprentice to journeyman stuff from the blue drops, you get journeyman to mastercraft from the yellow, and mastercraft from the red, and purple drops guaranteed ascendant. And that will give you riot armor, advanced weapons, mech blueprints, flak armor, and a selection of saddles. The percentage chance that a blueprint will drop as or an item will drop as a blueprint instead of the actual item itself is the same as you'd find on any standard ARC server. So blueprints are rarer than the actual items themselves. But they are there. So I suppose you have a choice. You either do a half dozen caves, get some spare shotguns and stuff like that, and then you haven't really got a problem. Or you go off and find somebody that has got the blueprint and get them to make you 10 shotguns. Or you make them a good offer on the blueprint and see what they want to sell.
Yep, Smiley's right there with the Nindoms. They are invisible. To confirm that. My God, do they hurt when they hit you?
One shot by one once. Me, my griffin, my will to live.
Those sort of things, Kara, are all for the suggestions channel.
Dinos that are blacklisted from the mutator, can we get shop options to change imprinter or change gender? Mate boosting indoms. Indoms being the invisible ones, not the domination rexes. Okay. Dummies are already tweaked to such an extent that mate boosting is not an option unless we start thinking about lowering their damage and their resistances.
Yeah, the dominations we have here are severely boosted. They're not stock dominations at all. They're mental.
We've increased the damage they put out. We've decreased the damage they take. We've tweaked them quite heavily. And also, you can level them past the limits. Like I said earlier, you do the world bosses, you can level them past the limits of the mod as well. Because with a domination rex, you can't breed them. So you're stuck. You get a max level egg out of it. Then you add your 74 levels and you're stuck. You can't add any more levels. No way. So what we've done is we've added consumables, which you can feed them, which add 5 levels at a time. Those consumables. Yeah. Those consumables, I've been working hard on our mod. We're hopefully going to have it ready in time to be able to give some away at the event as well. Just a straw poll here, then. Who's got a Domination Rex? Give us a me in the Roundtable chat. Me. I'm just finding a giveaway for this evening.
Ooh.
Extra levels. Can those consumables be transferable? I don't think they would survive the transfer between the arcs. They're very unstable. No, I wasn't thinking about giving away dummies. I was thinking about giving away their level boosts. So we could do like 4 plus 5 damage, 4 plus 5 stamina, 4 plus 5 HP, and everyone just rolls in on them. Yeah, the stat boosts for the Domination Rexes deliberately have a short lifespan and deliberately are not transferable. What we didn't want people doing was farming the world bosses just to stack up loads of them, deny everybody else, and corner the market on the upgrades. Because all that happen then is somebody will end up just constantly farming the world bosses, hoarding all of the upgrades, and then selling them.
There's already ways to get lots and lots of those upgrades, by the way.
Yes, there are. Take lots of people along.
I mean, I leveled my Dommy, pretty much maxed it in 2 stats, and pretty much never done a world boss. No admin intervention.
You had lots of nice people who were giving away stuff they didn't realize the value of.
Throwing away more like, yeah, totally.
Yeah. It's like, oh, what's this? I don't need this. Bye.
Pro tip, by the way, guys, if you don't realize it, when you do these bosses, especially and you get these Dommy upgrades, most people don't have Dommies. And the way I used to do it was I used to literally run the transmitters every time somebody did a boss. And if you go around checking the transmitters or around them or on the actual floor on the boss arena, people just lob them or leave them on terminals. You just got to be resourceful. Can we put a pin somewhere on how to get level past 110? I'm sure one of our wonderful guys is going to give now a complete breakdown on how to level up to 170, 180.
There already is one in guides, I think.
There is, yeah. Your first ascension is obviously the tech cave on the island. Your second ascension would be aberrations and ascension, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Extinction, I don't believe is.
It is, yes.
Extinction, okay. Extinction is an ascension. And then after that, you've got your runes from Fjordjaw. You've got your chibi. You get your chibi to level 6, you'll get an extra 5 levels. There's another few levels if you manage to collect, I know it's an insane proposition, but to collect all the Explorer notes.
You ascend from King Titan?
Yes, I believe you do. Yeah.
You definitely ascend from King Titan. Well, I didn't say that. Speaking of which, there's going to be another ascension soon.
There is.
Mm. Scorched Earth?
Oh, of course, yes, they're revamping SE, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's going to be amazing. I love Scorched Earth.
Just to put the ending in and show you how you ended up on the aberration arc instead of the one you were actually supposed to go to.
Yeah.
Yeah. The post I put there of my implant is the assumptions you can get.
Okay, that's a good idea. The center map opens on the main cluster. Will it be possible to move the Apex Lava Elemental to it because it's currently the only war slot behind DLC? We can do that.
Yeah.
That's doable. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we can do that. I've got no issue with moving that. Okay. Let's do some giveaways then, yeah? And then we can clean house for the night, go to bed early, and get up to sort the servers out.
Yeah, I didn't see that many people saying they had dummies yet, so I was a bit thrown there. You could always give away one dummy of your choice and then 3 of the level ups of each kind.
We can give away dummies just this once.
Yeah, only one, I'm thinking.
One dummy. We got what?
Yeah.
31, 32 in the chat.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do it.
Yeah.
One dummy of your
Okay.
choice. We're just doing the dummy? Are we doing the upgrades afterwards?
Oh, yeah, we'll do the upgrades afterwards.
Okay. You better be reacting to this then, Maraxes, and you might have a dom.
Only Harry is a domination Rex.
These, by the way, guys, when the reaction roll pops up, are the most OP dinosaurs on the cluster. You want to be registering for this.
In this channel.
You do need a good saddle for it. I know quite a few people who've got decent dummy saddle blueprints.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Duration 60 seconds, one winner, one domination Rex of your choice. So whoever gets picked as the winner, open a ticket afterwards. Give us the CCC coordinates to a Sol terminal in your base that is not pin coded, and we will drop the egg off for you at some point over the next week.
Okay.
Bear in mind, we have a shitload of maintenance tomorrow, so it's not going to be tonight or tomorrow.
I can do it tonight. That's no problem.
No, you don't mind? Okay. Sandy will be the post lady.
That's the thing.
Let's go.
I will hold off from that because I have my Tesla.
More. You want dummies? Let's go.
So when we first designed the dummies, we started off by spawning a dummy in, or designed how good they were, and we threw armies of dinosaurs at it, people's raid teams, to see how long it would survive. Then we did like one-on-ones with it against gigas, with saddles, without saddles, and the standard dummy was actually not that strong compared to like a giga or something like that. So we buffed it significantly. Then obviously we've added in the consumables as well. Well, congratulations, Cara.
All right, very nice. One dummy of your choice.
Coming up. I would ask people are sensible for the next one, please, and only enter if you're really interested in the prize, and it's going to be one domination Rex damage mutation. And there'll be 3 winners.
Yeah, only people who have dummies. It's not fair otherwise.
Yeah.
You've also got to remember when these are delivered, they have a timer on them.
Yeah.
15 minutes.
So you have to apply them and be ready.
It's an hour if you put it on a dinosaur, by the way. Dinos won't auto-eat these things. You have to make them eat them. And if you store it in the dino's inventory, the preservation time shoots up. At least it does in my test build that I've got. I don't know if it does it on live. So 3 winners coming up for this.
No, if you win, you should not be giving it away to others. If that is what you want to do, then don't enter.
Just don't enter.
People really want this stuff. This is good stuff.
No, there won't be. That's good.
I shall finish here.
It doesn't matter, Cara. Don't feel bad. That's an Indominus Rex saddle. Or an invisible dude. That won't fit on a Domination Rex. Oh, there we go. Cleveland's got a new dummy in cooking at the moment, I believe.
How do you claim it? If you've just won something, you create a ticket. If you won the dummy, you need to tell us which of the dummies you want. If you won the upgrades, you need to provide us with CCC terminal codes. In fact, for the dummy upgrades, it's probably best if somebody meets you in person because they have timers on. For the dummy itself, we're going to need a CCC coordinate. So for Cara, who won the dummy, if you're not familiar with CCC coordinates, all you do is you press tab to go into the console in game. You type in CCC and press enter. It won't do anything. You won't see anything. You just do a control V into the ticket, standing by your control terminal when you've got the CCT coordinates, and we will just deliver it straight to the Sol terminal of your choice. Yes, pin protected terminals are no good to us. It can be locked, but not pinned. Yes, Chris. See you later, Smiley. Thank you.
Yeah.
And with that, I think we will wrap things up for tonight.
I think so too.
You do this in a ticket, yes. You submit a ticket, an ARC ticket. Stand by your Sol terminal you want it delivered to. Press tab, CCC, and then control V into the ticket. And we will deliver it for you. You don't need to be online. And congratulations, you're going to really enjoy it. Do it wisely.
Yes.
With that, we've been the Wicked Ninjas. You've all been awesome. Thank you, good night, and remember, patience tomorrow morning. We're going to get it done as fast as we can. Laters, guys.
I have something to say.
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
I am not done. It's not put in the crafting stations.
Oh, is this the new Aberration Trading Post? Looking cool. Speaking of cool, and I did want to shout it out. Who was base was we looking at it the other day? Was it Bruce Wayne?
Yes.
With the really, really cool base. We'll have to get a screenshot of that and get it up on social. But Bruce Wayne's base is looking amazing. I'll just add that before we disappear.
Have you seen the spaceship on Genesis 2?
I have, yes. That's really cool too.
That's cool.
There's some really good ones out there.
It's made by Theo and
yeah.
It's awesome. I haven't visited it recently, so I don't know how far along it's come.
Yeah.
There is the picture from Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I thought was just epic. It's the way he's built it. It's the way he's just made it all come together. That is amazing. Loved it. It's even better in person.
I'd probably use a tech bridge on the right-hand side.
It's so cool how he's managed to do that.
That's what he's got planned for that.
Yeah. No, I've not seen him recently at all. But who knows? People go and come and...
So his actual name is Bruce Vane.
Yes, that's
I
right.
gave it to him when he joined as human.
That was a while ago, yeah.
So just for those of you who don't know, if anyone joins as human and I happen to spot, I will either rename them or take a community message to what name I should pick for them. Yeah, 123s as well. Now, anything that's, I mean, like when I get round to it, I'm just going to make it so that people can't use certain names and also can't use names that are already taken.
There's some cracking bases around.
There are indeed. On that note, we do need to be off. It's an hour and a half we've been going.
Yeah, we're officially shut down.